Welcome to this session on how to use your passion to earn an income. Thank you for tuning in. So all of us would like to earn an income using our passion, isn't it? Because there's something that we all like to do and we like to enjoy doing it and earn an income from it. But a lot of us are limited by our current circumstances, by what people tell us. People have a habit of telling you that you should do something, that this is what you should do. They think they know what you should do. But what I'd like you to know that your passion comes from you. So you should be the one to decide what it is that you want to do. And whatever it is that you would like to do, it is very possible to turn it into an income generating activity. So today I'm going to talk about how to identify your passion, what to focus on, profit or passion, and the steps to turn your passion into your profession. When I was in high school, I was very good at math. So all along, I thought that I wanted to study something along the finance field. And I thought that I wanted to become something along the finance field. But when I went into university, I decided to study finance and marketing. I decided that I'm going to explore both ends of the world. But why was this? This is because I was being determined by my circumstances. I was being controlled by my circumstances. I didn't have much of an option, on what I should really study. So I just took what came to my hand. I'm sure that a lot of you are familiar with this situation because you are sent to university based on your parents' choices, not based on what it is that you really wanted to do. And by high school, a lot of us probably didn't even know what it is that you exactly wanted to do, right? So I decided to explore both sides, marketing and finance. And, along as the years went on, I realized that I didn't really enjoy the finance bit, but not that I was very good at math in high school. So you can see that your passion actually evolves over time as you undergo different experiences, as you explore new things in your life. When I joined the corporate world after my university education, I decided to join the world of customer service, customer experience, because I loved people facing jobs. I loved where I'd get to interact with people. But over time, I felt like, it was becoming too repeat for me. It was becoming like a repetition. I was doing the same thing day in, day out. So eventually I moved into the marketing field. Now, this is something that I really enjoyed because it involved a lot of creativity. It allowed me to explore my own potential, my own, it let my creativity come out of me. But again, when I progressed in my career over the years, I realized that this is something that I don't really enjoy doing. But I couldn't tell what it is that I really like to do. So one thing that I'd like you to know today is that when you notice repeated patterns in your life, when you start losing interest, when you start something, but you keep losing interest, you feel like it's the next thing that I'd like to do, and you keep exploring the next thing, or you can't seem to stick in one place for a very long time. That's the number one sign that you need to explore what it is that you really want to do, because that's not what you really want to do. When you are following your passion, when you are going for what it is that you really want to do, you'll not feel that boredom, no matter what happens. You'll not get fed up when you face challenges. Some of the challenges that I faced in the corporate world was that I was never a decision maker. I was not the kind who could stand up and make a decision. So even in my leadership positions, I expected my bosses to make decisions for me and then I would simply execute. So that posed a challenge for me. And in the corporate world, you have to make decisions. Otherwise, you're never going to succeed. The number two thing that I really suffered with in the corporate world was that I could not delegate any of my tasks. As much as I was working in teams, I felt like, people around me were never good enough to be able to execute what it is that I needed. So I felt that I needed to do everything myself. So I could never really delegate and ask for help. So what happened? I suffered because I held all the burden of my work. So what I'd like you to know that, when you get fed up of the challenges that you are facing on a day-to-day basis regarding what it is that you're doing, the income activity, the income generating activity that you are involved in, if it's something that's tiring you out, if it's something that bores you, then that's not what's meant for you. Because whatever is your passion, whatever it is that you really love to do, can never cause you any kind of boredom or any kind of fatigue. And no matter what kind of challenges you face, but if you are following your passion, it will keep getting you fired up every single day. All right. So how did I find my passion? What exactly happened? Now, I talked about, you recognizing the repeated patterns that are not serving you. So a lot of you are in places where you're not happy, but you're just pushing in, day out, simply because you need the money. Or people around you are telling you that this is what suits you, this is what you should do, this is what we see you doing. But what you need to do is ask yourself what it is that you really want. Go really deep within and question yourself. What do you love doing? What are you good at? Now, one of the things that can help you identify what it is that you really like doing comes from your natural abilities. So go back and ask yourself a few questions over the years. What are the activities that you enjoy doing in your life? And you'll see that there are certain activities that have a specific trend, that bring out certain abilities in you that will help you identify what it is that you really like to do. So in my case, I was always a person who liked to face people, who liked to interact with people. And eventually, I realized that I love to work with people and help them achieve what it is that they'd like to achieve, help them live the kind of life that they want to live. Because I always love to see people being happy with their lives. So what was the one way that resonated with me? What resonated with me was that I would love to help people live the life they want. When I saw them doing what it is that they want and living the life they want, that really helped me fulfill myself. So when you ask yourself what it is that you want, now what's going to happen? All those voices that have been talking to you for many, many years, your inner nagging voice is definitely going to come up and say, but this is not possible. Why should you do it? You don't have the money, you don't have the time, you don't have the resources to pursue what it is that you want. And you need the money that's coming from what you're currently pursuing. So all these voices are definitely going to come up, and your current circumstances are always going to show up. So what you need to do is you need to ignore all this. You need to shut out your five senses from all these nagging voices, from all these circumstances, from anyone, even if it's your closest family or friends who tell you that this is not what you should pursue. You need to shut out all those voices, sit with yourself and ask yourself, what do you really love to do? What would make you happy when you wake up in the morning? How would you want to pursue it? What do you see yourself doing on a daily basis? So what I'd like you to know today is that your spirit is meant for expansion and fuller expression. Whatever it is that you desire, whatever it is that you really want to follow and pursue as your passion in your life, you would not have that passion and desire if you are not meant to have it in the first place. So that's the first thing I'd like you to remember. Number two, most of you are deciding what to do based on your current circumstances. Now, most of us, decide that we want to go for something that we already know how to achieve. There is no inspiration, there is no excitement, and there is no growth in this. There are other people who decide to go for what they think they can achieve. So there is a bit of growth in that, because this is something you can find a way to achieve. So there is no inspiration or excitement, but there is a bit of growth. But what you should be really going for is something that you really want. It's something that scares you and excites you at the same time. It's something you've never done before, and you feel like it's completely beyond your reach. How did I do that in my life? Let me tell you my story now. So in 2014, I came across the book, The Secret, in which my mentor, Bob Proctor, was one of the contributors. But at that time I read the book, it's based on the law of attraction. And I never paid any attention to him or any of the other authors. So along the years, I just kept reading all these personal development books, thinking that I'm going to get somewhere by just reading all these books. And I never could really point a finger to what it is that I really wanted to do. I knew for some reason, after I read The Secret, that I want to find a way of helping people. So I said to myself, should I become a coach? But I felt like, every other person is some sort of a coach. So I want to do something different. And then my journey began in 2021, when I came across my mentor, Bob Proctor's 5-day programs on Facebook. He used to host these 5-day live events for free, and I decided to attend one of them. This was in July of 2021. I believe that was the best birthday gift I could give to myself, because when I attended his 5-day live event, and when I heard that you could become a consultant under his institution, I made an immediate decision that I'm going to become a consultant under Bob Proctor's institution. And guess what? It cost $30,000 in order to become a consultant under his institution. And I didn't have the money. But I knew immediately that this is something that resonated with me, that resonated with my spirit. And I decided to become a consultant immediately. Now, what did that look like? That didn't mean that I found the money immediately and I signed up. Absolutely not. What I did, I started following him very closely. I started implementing everything that he was asking us to do, all the exercises in that 5-day program. I also went ahead and I did a bit more research on how I can become a consultant. And over time, by changing my habits, by changing my thinking patterns, just in another 8 to 9 months after that, I landed the consulting program. Why did that happen? It happened because I made a decision. I made a committed decision. So what happened when I made a committed decision? My frequency switched to becoming a consultant under his institution. And I was able to attract the people, resources, and situations that I needed in order to become a consultant under his institution. So, at that time, I was still employed. And I always had a thought that all these things are only meant for other people. Meaning, it's other people who do different things in life, because everybody else around me was employed. And everybody around me was telling me that employment is the best way to go. When I was growing up, my parents told me the same thing, that employment is the safest way to go, simply because they had lost their business. When I was about 8 years old, they lost their business in a fire and they couldn't revive it. So as we grew up, we always heard in our family that employment is the best way to go. And as I was in the corporate world, that's the same thing I kept hearing, because all my friends, all my relatives are always in employment. So they said that this is the safest way to go. So you know how you always think that bigger dreams are for other people. But what I'd like you to know, that it is possible for you to earn an income using your passion, because your passion is what drives you. Now, the first mistake that most people do is when they want to work with their passion, they first want to focus on the money. So what I'd like you to know is that you have to focus on serving. When you focus on the money disappears. It doesn't come quickly to you. So what you need to do is make serving other people your main focus. So what are the products and services that you are offering? So start working with your passion, with the perspective of serving people. So the biggest mistake that people do is that they go to work to make money, to earn money. You have to go to work to gain satisfaction, and the money automatically starts flowing in. So make sure that you go for your passion based on what you really enjoy doing, not based on the fact that it can earn you a certain amount of money. Because the minute you start chasing money, that's when you start going down. You don't do well in whatever it is that you want to do. That's when you don't prosper. And that's why a lot of people wonder, they say that, yeah, but this is my passion and this is what I really enjoy doing. How come, why is it that I'm not doing well? That's because at the back of your mind, you're trying to chase money. What you need to do is chase your fulfillment, chase your dream. What it is that you want to deliver to people. How is it that you want to serve the people around you? What really fulfills you? When you do something that really fulfills you, the money is an after effect. It just comes to you automatically. So my message here today is that when you notice repeated patterns in your life, when you realize that you're just jumping from one thing to the next, you're not able to stick to that one thing, when you face certain challenges in whatever it is that you're doing, and you want to quit, you don't want to continue, that means that's not your actual passion. So you might think that what it is that you're doing currently is your passion, but it might not be. So you really, really need to sit down with yourself and ask yourself, what it is that you really want. Are you happy? Does this fulfill you? Those are the questions that you need to ask yourself. Once you know what it is that you want, once you're clear about that, you're clear about your passion, I would suggest that you get guidance for this. The question is, what are you focused on, right? Now, when I talk about getting guidance, I mean get a mentor, get a coach, get a consultant, whoever, somebody who can help you get clear direction. And these are the same people who can also help you determine what your passion is. You don't have to figure it out on your own. The beautiful thing is that there's so many resources out there today. There's so many people who can help you and give you some kind of direction. Speak to the people you resonate with. Speak to the people who are qualified enough to help you decide what your passion can be. But remember, the ultimate answer comes from you. So this person can only provide you some guidance. The number 2 step is identify the areas you need to work on. So the 2 most important things that I worked on were skills and mindset. And before I even started working on my skills, I started with my mindset. Now, if you get the skills, but if you don't have the mindset, when your skills and your mindset are not aligned, if they're on different levels, what you get is distorted results. You might not even get any results at all. And if you have the mindset and you don't have the skills, you will not be able to execute your passion effectively. So I'm just going to share, along the way, what I worked on with myself. Now, in terms of the skills, I was given world-class training by the institution that I am affiliated with, Procter Gallagher. Procter Gallagher is an institution that is run by Bob Proctor. And when he passed on, it was taken over by his co-founder. So the idea is, what we were taught by Procter Gallagher was that you should just do it. Whatever it is that you need to do in order to fulfill your dream of becoming a Procter Gallagher consultant, just do it. Whatever you're supposed to start doing in order to start serving people, even if it means approaching them, it means holding events, it means speaking to people on social media, just start doing it. Now, what happened? Because my mindset was not aligned. So as much as the skills training was happening, at the same time, we were also being trained on the mindset part of it. The mindset is what made the biggest difference for me in my career. So I have been practicing this for just above a year. And the phenomenal change that I have experienced, I cannot even begin to describe to you. So the mindset is where all the diamonds are. That is where all your skills are actually hidden. So I'll give you a very basic example. One of the things that really got in my way was my self-image. Because since I was a young child, I didn't have the confidence to speak in front of people, to express myself. I was always afraid. What would people say? What would they think about me? Right? I was very, very afraid of that. And that is the one thing that was required to become a consultant under Procter Gallagher, under Bob Proctor's institution. So what happened? When I started working on myself, on my mindset regarding my self-image, my confidence just started to spur. I didn't even have to get any formal training. I don't have any formal training when it comes to public speaking, but I just started speaking in front of people. I started approaching all these executives and I started making presentations to them. And this was something that I could never even do in the corporate world. I was very, very afraid. I lacked the confidence of speaking up in front of people. But what happened? The problem there was that there was an issue with my self-image. Self-image is the concept that you hold of yourself. How do you perceive yourself? How do you view yourself? And I'm not talking about how you look externally. I'm talking about how you feel about yourself internally. Now, because of the way I was brought up, because of the kind of schools that I went to, I never had that confidence. I never felt I was good enough to express my opinions in public. I was always worried about other people's opinions. And that gave me a poor self-image. But when I became a Procter Gallagher consultant under my mentor Bob Proctor's institution, he taught us that you are made in the perfect image of God. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. And I'd like you to borrow this from me today. For whoever has tuned in, for whoever is listening to me here today, remember that you are made in the perfect image of God. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. You were made to believe that things were wrong with you as a child, and you just accepted those beliefs, all right? And that created your self-image. It created a concept of yourself. So when you want to pursue your passion, you know that you have that passion in the first place because you are capable of following it. You are capable of converting it into an income generating activity. Your passion would not be there if you are not meant to pursue it in the first place. Your passion is your spirit's calling of expansion, of giving service to the people around you. So you must remember that. So when you work on your mindset, when you work on your self-image, that's one of the things that really, really helped me. You will just start to flourish. Another thing that I really, really worked on was decision making. So decision making is something that can really help you. As I told you, I just made a decision that I am going to become a Procter Gallagher consultant. I am going to become a success enabler. This is something I knew that I really wanted to do. What do most of us do? We get into procrastination. We tell ourselves, oh, I'll think about it. You have your passion. What do you need to think about? If it's something that you really want to do, you need to make a committed decision. When you say that, oh, I'll think about it, you never really even think about it later. Even when you think about it, all these fears, doubts, they all start creeping in simply because you've procrastinated. So indecision does not come from fear. It's the other way around. Your lack of decision making causes you to become fearful. Why? Because it brings in all these doubts, fears, and worries. It brings all these doubtful thoughts into your mind when you don't sit down and make a decision. So today I'd like to challenge you. Sit down and make a committed decision that you are going to follow your passion. You are going to do whatever it is that you want to do and earn an income from it. So all you have to do is make a committed decision. When you make a committed decision, it moves you to the frequency of what it is that you want to pursue. And automatically, all the people, resources, and circumstances start coming towards you. And I'd like to share one other thing with you regarding decision making. When I became a Procter Gallagher consultant, I was still employed in my full-time job, a 9-to-5 job, which I was working from home. It's something I really enjoyed doing, but I knew it wasn't what I always wanted to do. What I am doing currently is my actual passion, helping people live the life they want. So when I was still in my 9-to-5 job, I started realizing that it was becoming a bit of a stretch. I couldn't juggle the two, right? So when I was being trained by my institution, when I was being taught about fear, we all have fears, right? We all have fears around how are we going to support ourselves in case my practice does not pick up, I still need the money. What are people going to say? I also had all those fears that I was struggling with. But when I learned what fear really means, fear does not even exist. When I understood the different stages of fear, I made a decision in 30 seconds to quit my job. And what did I do? I informed my immediate supervisor immediately for accountability purposes so that I do not delay that decision. So when you want to pursue your passion and you want to make a decision, make it within 30 seconds and hold somebody account, have somebody that you can be accountable to, a friend, a colleague, whoever it is that you resonate with. Make sure that you inform that you made that decision so that it becomes a committed decision. Because when you don't tell somebody about it, there's a high chance that you're going to revert, you're going to come back from it, all right? So make sure that you make a committed decision. Now, what does it mean, to make why did I say that you must make a decision in 30 seconds? Because when you know what your passion truly is, when you know what it is that you really want to go for, that comes from your spirit, it comes from your intuition. So in the first 30 seconds, your intuition gives you a response as to whether you should go for something or not. That response is usually the correct response. After 30 seconds, your logic kicks in, which is controlled by your paradigm. Your paradigm is your habitual ways of doing things for a number of years. It's based on your conditioning that you had for many years, meaning you're going to be making the wrong decision because your paradigm wants you to stay where you are. It does not want you to move to the next level, all right? So if you pass the 30-second mark when it comes to decision making, it means you're not going to make the right decision. And that's why when you say that you're going to think about it, your paradigm takes over. It doesn't even let you think about it, all right? That is the reality. And you never end up doing what it is that you really want. For how many years have you wanted to progress? For how many years have you been wanting to turn your passion into your profession, but you've not been able to do it? It's because your paradigm has taken over. It's not letting you make that decision. So I'd like you to overcome that today. make a decision, think about what it is that you want to do. Once you have an answer, make a committed decision in 30 seconds and see the magic that starts happening in your life. Another thing that I had to really overcome was fear. Now, the initial fear was, that I didn't have the resources in order to become a Procter Gallagher consultant, in order to execute my current practice. But when I overcame those fears, everything started working in my favor, and I was eventually able to embark on this journey. When I embarked on the journey, there was another level of fear. At every level of progress, at every level of growth, you face a different kind of fear. I was afraid, will people receive my services well? Will they afford my services? What will they say? Because I always had this image that I was a marketing executive, in the corporate world. People always viewed, people have an image of you, right? They view you in a certain way. And because they view you in a certain way, you start viewing yourself in that way. But that's where my self-image came in. So my change in self-image also helped me overcome my fears, because I realized it's important for me to go for what it is that I want. It's important for me to pursue my passions. And for that, you have to upgrade your self-image. Remember, you can never outperform your self-image. You only have to change it. Your results will always be aligned with your self-image. So until you don't upgrade your self-image, your results will never change. So to pursue your passion, you have to overcome the fears that you're currently facing. Move beyond your circumstances, work on your self-image, and see the magic that starts happening. Another thing around self-image that I wanted to mention was confidence, because your confidence levels are highly related, are aligned with the self-image that you have of yourself. Now, as I mentioned, it's not about how you dress up and show up at an external level physically. It's about how you feel about yourself from within. So no matter how good you look in front of people at a physical level, no matter how dressed up you are, until you don't feel confident within yourself, you'll never be able to deliver whatever it is that you're meant to deliver. So I had to learn confidence from within myself. I had to develop that confidence. And by shifting my self-image, by understanding who it is that I really am, you have to understand you. Otherwise, you'll never understand other people. You'll never understand what's really going on with the world, what's really happening around you. So I went deep into my own studies and I understood myself, what exactly was going on with me, what it is that was hindering me from achieving, from following my passion. When I started making all these shifts, everything started changing. I was able to speak confidently in front of people. I was able to show up. I was able to help people that I never thought I could help. I was able to change lives. I was able to create the impact that I wanted to create. And you can do the same for yourself. To follow your passion, you have to develop that confidence. And to develop that confidence, you have to work on your self-image. The next thing that was really helpful was leadership. You have to be your own leader. Don't let other people tell you what to do. Don't let other people lead you. We always hear people telling us, right, that this is what's expected of you. This is what the society expects. This is what your family expects. These are what your friends expect. This is what people in the professional field expect you to do. Expectations are always put on us, right? But today I'd like you to know that be your own leader. When I made that decision to become my own leader, that's when things started happening for me. I decided to shut out all the voices and lead myself to my own journey. And how do you do this? The thing that really helped me was to follow the right people in my industry. So who are the leaders? Who are the winners in my industry? What are they doing? What are their daily practices? How do they execute their work? So I decided to follow them so that I could learn from the best. So you can do the same. Once you identify what your passion is, identify the leaders in your industry. What are they doing on a daily basis? How do they execute their work? What kind of characteristics do they have? And this can really help you get onto the right path. Another very, very important thing is overcoming your paradigm. As I mentioned, your paradigm is your habitual way of doing things on a day-to-day basis. Your paradigm was formed when you are a baby and you're not even aware that it's still determining your daily behavior. Your daily behavior determines your daily results. How many of you have been struggling, with the same thing day in, day out? You try to work so hard, you put in so much effort, but you don't get the results that you want. So what I'd like you to know that you have to have a complete overhaul of your daily habits if you want different results. So this is the one thing that really put me on the path to my passion. It was not easy. So an example I'd like to share with here all of you today is that when I became a Procter Gallagher consultant, one of the things that I had to do was study on a daily basis. Studying is what helps you to expand your awareness. This is what helps you grow in your life, right? Now, I'm not just talking about reading. A lot of people mistake study for reading. That's what we all did in school. School just made us repeat things and pass our exams. So we didn't really internalize any concepts. What I'm really talking about here is internalizing concepts that you learn and implementing them in your daily life. So one of the habits that I formed when I joined this profession was a habit of daily studying. I wake up at 5 a.m. daily in order to study. This is something I'd never done before. So we had our training, and on a Friday, my mentor said that we had to wake up at 5 in the morning. Starting that Monday, immediately, I started waking up at 5 in the morning. Since then, things have never been the same. So if you want to be successful in whatever it is that you are doing, if you want to convert your passion into your profession, make sure that you change your daily habits. It's your daily habits that shape your days. Your days shape your weeks shape your months, and your months shape your years, and your years shape your life. So the changes start with the smallest level. It starts at the micro level. The micro level changes lead to the macro level changes. Another thing was belief. Now, I always thought, I always believed that whatever it is that I'm doing at the moment only works in the Western world, this kind of money people don't pay where I live. So these are some of the beliefs that had clouded my vision. But what did I do? I decided to overcome them. I decided to change them. So if you want to convert your passion into your profession, you must overcome some of the limiting beliefs that you accepted in your past years and you're currently accepting. We believe things based on what people tell us. We keep listening to the news. We keep talking to people. All these people, most of them don't even encourage us, right? How many people really support you in your circle? Really think about that. What are the beliefs that you're absorbing on a daily basis? And you're most probably unconsciously taking in these beliefs, and you don't even know that this is happening to you, all right? So you need to really think about, what are your beliefs around your passion? And look at the people who are prospering in the passion that you want to pursue. If they can do it, so can you. It doesn't matter where you are, because everything sits in your paradigm. So turn around your beliefs and make that shift for yourself. Another thing was building relationships. When you leave people better than you found them, that is practicing the impression of increase. When you give more than you expect to get, that's when magic starts happening for you. When you start pursuing your passion initially, focus on giving, focus on serving. Don't focus on making the money, because most people are focused on making profits or the money. And this is where you go wrong. So you need to make sure that your idea behind pursuing your passion is to serve people, is to make their lives better. How are you giving them more than you're getting from them? And that's when you start getting bigger returns and you don't even realize it. And it all just happens naturally, because this is how the laws of the universe operate. The more you give, the more you get. Now, when I went through all these processes, how did I feel? All the shifts that I've just talked about, I was extremely uncomfortable. But guess what? I just did it, because your passion fires you up, right? Think about it. What it is that you really love to do. You'd go to any extent to achieve it, isn't it? So start getting uncomfortable, start working on yourself, start making those changes so that you can convert your passion into your profession. So I have a step-by-step system. That's the great news I have for everyone here today, that I have just created. It is called the Creator. And the Creator helps you to convert your passion into your profession. Some of you are stuck in a pattern of habits that are not serving you, right? Some of you are major procrastinators and you can't just seem to get things done. Your self-concept gets getting in your way. You lack confidence. You don't know how to go about it. You don't even know how to identify your passion. But for some of you, you know your passion, but you don't know the way forward. You don't feel good enough to pursue your dreams. You feel like all these big dreams are just for others. But guess what? Your passion would not have been there if you weren't meant to pursue it, all right? And some of you aren't able to overcome that inner nagging voice. Remember the nagging voice that I talked about that says to you, you don't have the time, you don't have the money, people don't expect this from you, so you can't do it. You're supposed to remain where you are currently. And you're constantly worried about what other people are saying or, thinking of you. We're always worried about what the society thinks, what our families think, what our friends think about us. When I start pursuing my passion, what are people going to say? They're going to comment and be like, oh, XYZ is doing this thing. Oh my God, is it really going to work? These are the things that bother us, right? We have fears, doubts, and worries. So with the Creator, this is a step-by-step system where I take you through how to develop new habits that will help you pursue your passion effortlessly. I help you to beat procrastination. And a lot of us are stopped by fears. So I help you to do the very thing that your fears have been stopping you from doing. I will help you change your self-concept completely. It will absolutely turn around. You not even recognize yourself after you go through this process with me. And I help you get out of this struggle mode, because what are some of us doing? We are either in places where we are not happy being, right? So you're still in the struggle mode because you're in the cycle of ordinary thinking. So by helping you think and be a different person, I help you get out of the struggle cycle. I help you pursue your passion, and I help you turn it into a profession. Because as I said, you're meant for expansion and fuller expression. If you are not following your passion, you're not doing justice to yourself. So join me on this program. It's called The Creator. I will be posting the link on the comment section of this video. This is going for only 45,000 shillings if you're in Kenya, or only $450. The original value of this program is actually $1,000. So it's on offer only up to 31st of May. So if you are somebody who is very passionate about going for what it is that you want and you want to turn it into a profession, get in touch with me and we can have a conversation around this. All right. Thank you so much for watching.